Welcome to this short presentation on the importance of grounding and bonding when pumping into or out of temporary containers. During this presentation, you will become familiar with the hazards that grounding and bonding is designed to prevent. You will hear how those hazards are caused and what you can do to prevent those hazards and protect yourself and the facility from the dangers they pose. What do we mean by temporary containers? Here are some suggestions about containers you might use while working at Port Reading which might need grounding and bonding. These include oil cans, drums, frac tanks, tote bins and vac trucks. So, what do you need to look out for when you are using temporary containers? A major hazard that can be encountered while using temporary containers at Hess Port Reading is flammable vapour. Whenever you are knowingly transferring liquid hydrocarbons from one container to another, you are likely to generate flammable vapours. You may also handle materials that contain hidden hydrocarbons. You may not be able to tell they are there, and steps may have been taken to remove it. To keep yourself safe, remember this rule. If the material you are handling has been in contact with flammable material, assume that there is still some flammable material left. This rule is particularly applicable to sludges, scale and catalysts. They all have the potential to trap hydrocarbon. Vapour clouds can form when these materials are disturbed and the vapours are allowed to accumulate. Most hydrocarbons have a range of concentrations that when mixed with air means they are flammable. Ensure appropriate measures are in place to prevent hazardous atmospheres from developing, such as by ventilation or inert gas blanketing. The other significant hazard associated with transferring hydrocarbons is static electricity. We will look at how it's caused in more detail shortly. Static electricity is dangerous when it is allowed to build up near a surface or object that has no charge or a different charge. The charge difference will drive the electricity to travel between the two locations, causing a discharge in the form of an arc or a spark. If vapours are allowed to reach flammable concentrations in the presence of air and a static discharge, a fire or explosion could occur. As a result, this could cause injuries to you and people nearby. Equipment and property may also become damaged. How is static electricity caused? Static is caused by friction between surfaces where at least one is made from a hydrocarbon such as plastic. You will have experienced static electricity in your everyday lives, like when you walk across a carpet made from man-made fibres, or when your child slides down a plastic slide. The same mechanism occurs when some liquid hydrocarbons, like LPG and gasoline, flow down a pipe or a hose. Static charges can be created when the hydrocarbon flows out of the end of the pipe or hose into the top of a container. Charges can also be generated when droplets of hydrocarbon move through the air. These conditions exist when a container is splash-filled with hydrocarbon. In this video clip, we can see gasoline vapours being ignited by static generated by getting out of a car, perhaps from friction between the driver and the car seat. Let's look at two actions that you can take to keep yourself safe. The first step in preventing fires and explosions during filling operations involving temporary containers is by using bonding. This can be achieved by establishing an electrical connection before any flow takes place between all the conductive components in the operation. This will allow all parts of the flow system to reach the same electrical potential. The charge can flow safely from one location to another along the conductor, rather than as a discharge. Bonding on its own is not enough. The system must also be grounded. An electrical connection must be established between the flow system and ground. Grounding ensures that no electrical charge can build up. Any charge that forms can safely flow out of the system and be neutralised. In summary, to ensure that you stay safe when performing pump-out operations involving temporary containers, before you start work, take the following steps. 1. Ensure that all the components of the system are connected together by electrical bonding. 2. Ensure that a clean bare metal to bare metal ground connection has been established. If you have any questions about whether you need grounding and bonding, or whether what you have in place is appropriate, please contact a member of the Hess Port Reading Electrical Department. You will now be asked to take a short test on the material we have covered.